JackAsk is canceled. Welcome to Tech Talk. There will be zero jokes today. I don't have time for your little jokes. I just want to talk some goddamn tech. I've been here for a while. What did you film and edit with back in college and the PMS days? First off, how dare you? I still make PMS. From 2006 to 2008, I used a JVC Averio camcorder that recorded everything to a 60 gigabyte hard drive and a whopping 0.7 megapixel resolution. Super crispy. Then from 2008 to 2010, I used a Canon Vixia HV30 camcorder. It was my first foray into HD and it recorded straight to a DV tape. I had to log all of my footage in real time. So for example, if I shot 30 minutes of footage, it took 30 minutes to log all of that onto the computer. Days of my life I'll never get back. Then from 2010 to 2017, I used a Canon 60D, my first DSLR, a magical little thing that served me very well. What camera do you use to film your vids? Well, now I use a Panasonic Lumix GH5. And I got this back in 2017 because it was one of the few affordable DSLRs that recorded 4K in 60 frames a second. Now, I almost never shoot in 4K, and I certainly never upload in 4K. But every once in a while, I'll shoot something like the Kids Bop Quiz 2 in 4K, so that in post, I can punch in on tighter shots and not lose any detail if I export to 1080. It's like a little safety net. What do you think of Fall Guys, and what should they do to keep it relevant? Fall Out Boys is great. Played it a couple of times myself and I've streamed it, no wins yet. It's a really smart game because it's designed to make you think you can win. You start a game with 60 players, and then 40 of those move on to the next round, which means more often than not, you're gonna win that first round and think, hey, I got a shot at this. Then of course, those next few rounds get a bit more elimination heavy, but the way it reels you in with that first round is so damn smart. Now the big question is, how long can it maintain its huge popularity? Because I've only played the game across 2 nights, and there are already some minigames I am sick to death of. So they've got to cycle in brand new minigames constantly if they want to keep this game fresh. It'll be very interesting to see if they can pull it off. What's your dream smartphone? What do you look for when you choose one? Have you ever found one that's ticked all the boxes for you? This is a really interesting question because the more I thought about it, the more I realized that modern smartphones already kind of tick all the boxes for me. Like for example, I want a phone with all-day battery life. Most smartphones already have that. The last couple of phones I've had already do. Or I want a phone with a great camera. Again, most phones today already have great cameras. Or I want a phone that's fast. They're all fast. Phones have 12 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of RAM. It's crazy. 10 years ago, when I had the Motorola Droid, you couldn't even slide between phone screens without it getting a little laggy. Now you can have like 30 apps running in the background without breaking a sweat. Here's what I look for in a phone now. Big screen, no bezel, minimal notch. And that's really it because I can trust all that other stuff to come with it. What are your thoughts on Halo Infinite's Craig? Yeah, that didn't really scream next gen, did it? I will say I am the worst person to ask about Halo because I never got an Xbox until the One X. I will also say that I'm glad the team decided to delay the game until next year because they're helping to normalize the idea that maybe crunch time isn't super healthy. Wow, you're old. Tech talk is so cringe, right? What are your thoughts on the new Microsoft Flight Simulator? I have it downloaded on my computer, but I haven't played it yet because I'm too scared to. For those who don't know, Microsoft Flight Simulator is a little insane because theoretically, it allows you to fly to any point on the globe. Now I've read all the reviews and they say it's gorgeous, it's a technical marvel, yada yada yada. And I really want to play this game, but I'm terrified that it's gonna suck me in for hours at a time. And I'll fly to places from my childhood to where Erin and I went on our honeymoon. And I'm also scared of the learning curve. I've never played a flight sim before. I couldn't even fly or land the goddamn planes in GTA 5. But it's sitting on my hard drive, I will play it eventually, and I will let you all know what North Korea looks like. Hi Jack, is the Note 20 Ultra tempting you to upgrade from your Note 10 Plus? I can confidently say that no, I am not tempted to upgrade. I used to be the guy that had to get the highest end phone every year, but this time I'm just not that impressed. So what are the upgrades? The front camera's a little smaller. Okay. The screen is 1/10 of an inch bigger. I would not tell the difference. The biggest upgrade, of course, is the camera array, but I'm already very happy with the pics and videos my 10 Plus can take. It's not 108 megapixels good, but for me it doesn't need to be. It does the job fine. So no, I'm not gonna shell out $1,300 or $1,400 for what I consider to be minor upgrades. I'll wait till next year, or at least until Did they fix the Galaxy Fold? God, I hope so. I mean, they did already do a few things. They made that outer screen way bigger, finally got rid of those awful bezels that screamed 2008, and that hideous notch inside has been replaced with a pinhole camera, as it always should have been, take note Apple. And they've said a lot of gobbledygook about the hinges being better, the screen being more durable. I'm not so sure about that, and I'll wait to hear what all the actual tech people have to say. I am optimistic though, because I do honestly think this is the future of smartphones. Not this exact form factor per se, but just the idea that you can make a screen larger when you want to. What would happen if Apple decided to make iFolds or foldable iPhones? When Apple finally introduces their version of a foldable iPhone, I guarantee they will claim it is the world's first foldable phone. That's kind of what Apple does. Sony, rumored to be making their answer to the Oculus Quest, a PSVR standalone console. Would you buy it? Ooh, that's a pretty juicy little rumor. Yeah, I'd buy it. I mean, I'd wait until they unveil their game library, and then of course I'd wait for reviews of those games to come out, but I am all for some competition because competition's only gonna make VR better. Personally, I am a giant believer in virtual reality. I have an Oculus Quest. I use it for exercise. I play a little boxing game and I work up a sweat. I made my parents try the Oculus Quest. They loved it. So yes, we need more standalone wireless VR consoles because there's just nothing like that feeling until you try it yourself. What game have you finished from start to end the most? Resident Evil 4. I have beaten and rebeaten that game so many times. I'm just drawn to it like a moth to a flame. It just might be the most fun single-player campaign of all time. What do you think about Mr. Hideo Kojima, more specifically Death Stranding? Death Stranding was a game I followed for years, much like many of you. I eagerly watched all of the vague and mysterious trailers that showed nothing but were impossible to take your eyes off. And then the reviews came in, and they were so middling. And because of that, I was no longer intrigued to play it. And I know I should form my own opinion, but when games take dozens of hours to beat, especially a game like Death Stranding, you really gotta pick your battles. And right now, I don't really have the time to invest in a game with a confusing storyline and gameplay that doesn't look all that fun. Convince me to buy an Android because Apple is obviously a terrible company, but I've only used Apple in my life, so it's all I know. First off, nice run-on sentence. Second, no, I will not convince you. Androids and iPhones both have their pros and cons. I can't really recommend one over the other. The only reason I've stuck with Android for so many years is because when the iPhone first came out, it wasn't available on my provider, Verizon. And let me tell you guys, there was nothing I wanted more than that first iPhone. So begrudgingly, in 2010, I bought my first smartphone, the Motorola Droid, just because it was the closest thing to an iPhone I could get on Verizon. I ended up loving it, so my next phone was another Android because I'm already kind of used to the ecosystem. And on it went until here we are today, and now I'm too married to Android to switch to iPhone. And it sounds like you're too married to iPhone to switch to Android. And that's okay, because both are fine. There's nothing major that an iPhone can do that an Android can't, and vice versa. Oh, wasn't this fun? I could talk tech with you guys for hours. Well, today's Tech Talk is sponsored by even more tech, Audible. Audible stands for, uh-oh, daddy's back. Hey, does anyone else have screen fatigue? Or doom scrolling fatigue? Because I've literally deleted Twitter from my phone. Everything's just so depressing and mean. And if you're like me, maybe you're stressed out from the real world. Well, Audible is the perfect way to de-stress. Yes, they have audiobooks, but did you know they also have sleeping programs, meditation programs, guided wellness programs, and all without staring at a screen. So here's your offer, tech heads. Visit audible.com/JackAsk, link in the description, or text JackAsks to 500-500 to start your 30-day free trial. Choose one audiobook, and while we're all at home, members can download all of the Audible Originals monthly selection for free. Looking for inspiration? Here's what I'm listening to. Brave New World. Yeah, I somehow never read this in school, and I figured with the new show streaming on Peacock, I may as well check out what all the hoopla is about. Now that's just one example, but you should take a look for yourself. Again, visit audible.com/JackAsks or text JackAsks to 500 to start your free 30-day trial.
So ask me your questions and I will ignore them, 'cause I'm a jackass, a big fat freaking jackass.
New tech talk every day, forever. Here's a clip from the last one. Wine time.
Wine time! My favorite time!
My dad is a moon truther. What should I do? Do you know what that is?
If you have a man that mansplains to you and assumes that you don't know general logic